Harvick and his team owner Delana, his wife, getting ready to go, waiting for the call to strap into that Chevrolet. Harvick to start 13th today. Delana nice enough to bake some chocolate chip cookies for all of us in the pit studio today. Unfortunately, only one of us got to eat them.
Makes the best cookies in the entire garage.
Were they still warm?
My favorite owner.
You're driving me nuts. All right, let's go down the trackside and hear from Marcus Ambrose, who is going to start 12th today, Jamie.
Hey, Alan, don't feel so bad. You know, us down here in the trenches, we didn't get any chocolate chip cookies, so thanks a lot, Brad. Anyway, we're joined by Marcus Ambrose, who wasn't watching our rain show. He was busy watching something else. But last year, you had one of your best finishes of the year. You finished 6th here. How do you guys feel about your effort today?
Well, I was looking forward to it till that rain came. Who knows what everyone's going to have out there. The track's going to be really abrasive. We just got to look after our tyres for the first part of the race. But I'm excited. You know, I really like Dover. I like concrete tracks for some reason. And this is a really, crazy place to race on. It's a great place to race, but it can bite you in a heartbeat. So looking forward to getting out there, seeing what we got.
Well, I'm going to ask you, because you're kind of a different opinion. Being on the outside looking in, you came into the sport pretty much last year. What's it like running against those Cup drivers on the other side?
Well, we're right in the middle of them this weekend, which is great for us. We're a smaller team trying to grow, and it's great to have a benchmark to race against, but maybe not 20 or 25 of them. How about we just let 2 or 3 in every week, make our weekends a little easier. But you want to race against the best as a driver. That's what I want to do. I want to compete against the best in the business, and I've got that chance to do it in the Nationwide Series, and we're excited. I'm pleased that Kingsford's allowing me to grow and learn in the Nationwide Series and hopefully one day get to the Cup level.
All right, Marcos Ambrose will roll off 12th. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, rolling off right in front of Marcos Ambrose is Josh Wise, making it only his 3rd start here in the Nationwide Series in this 22 car. How did this deal come about? This is your 2nd start, 2nd week in a row in this car.
I talked with Armando Fitz a few times once Mike Bliss, had left the team, and kind of bugged him a little bit, and then finally he called me Tuesday of last week to go run low, so it was kind of last minute, but we went and had a good run there, and just real happy he gave me an opportunity again to come here with Supercuts and just try to get a good run for these guys. We qualified good, and I was telling you, I don't really know what it's supposed to feel like. You said, does it feel good? I don't really know yet, but if we can keep up with this 16 car and the 20 car here and these guys here for a while, then I think it'll be feeling pretty good.
Well, you don't know what it's supposed to feel like, but tell me what that qualifying lap for you felt like being at this track for the first time.
It's awesome. I mean, this place is amazing. It's so fast, and it reminds me of like racing the sprint car back at Winchester, what I used to do. So it's a good time, and I was actually kind of mad. I felt like I kind of messed up. I overdrove turn 1 on my qualifying lap, but I guess you always, try to nitpick everything you do as a driver. So it's good, though. We got a good starting spot and just try to have a good, solid day today.
Well, you'll have 200 laps to make up that mess up that you thought you did. Over to Dave.
And Shannon, at the end of those 200 laps, we're going to be a lot later in the day than we thought we were going to be. Now, this is a serious question. Late in the day here, we're going to be losing some sunshine down here. So what does that do for you behind the wheel as the sun starts to go down? It gets dark here at Dover.
Well, obviously it gets a little harder to see.
Have you thought about this?
No, I haven't until you said anything. But no, I think we'll be okay. I mean, once it clears out a little bit, it'll get a little brighter. And heck, I grew up racing on dirt tracks where you couldn't really see anyway. So, and heck, maybe I'll go quicker if I can't see where I'm going.
Possibly. Now, you saw where you were going in qualifying. You start 15th. So what about traffic here? How tough is that going to be?
Well, it's it's not a real easy place to pass on. And the Ayers Dream Machine is hasn't been quite as good as we needed to be. Jerry Baxter and the guys working on it really hard and made it a lot better. We burned our primary car up in practice. It caught on fire, and we only got 5 laps, so we had to go to backup. Guys have done a great job. We just haven't got the amount of laps we need to get it quite sorted out, but we got a long time during the race. Hopefully we'll get there.
All right, good news for you. The radar is clear, and Rudiman and the rest of these guys are going to get ready to race here at the Monster Mile very soon.
Skies are clearing, track is drying. We are just 2 minutes away from the opening ceremony, and then the drivers will climb aboard and we'll send them loose for 200 miles on the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. Our coverage presented by DAP. Thank you so much for hanging with us for our coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Couple of stories just to touch on before we have the ceremony. Clint Boyer, the championship leader, starting way back in the field.
Clint's got a long way to come, but I tell you, we know he's a great race car driver, very talented. He is the points leader. He's coming from the 21st position.
Carl Edwards, a man who's had his struggles in the last month or so, starting on the pole. He won that spot in qualifying earlier today. Edwards, of course, a former winner here at this racetrack in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. See if he can use the concrete track where he was so good last year to rebound from a month of struggles. And Joey Logano, the 18-year-old from Connecticut, the phenom, if you will, making his debut in NASCAR's big leagues.
We've heard about him for a year. Now it's the opportunity to get ready to go racing. Let's see what Joey Logano's got. We're going to find out.
Logano driving the Joe Gibbs Racing 20 Toyota that has done so well so far this year with Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch behind the wheel. That car, Logano, will start from 9th spot. And then there's Kyle himself, the hottest driver. I don't think there's any question in NASCAR. He starts 3rd in the Braun Racing Toyota a week after winning in that car in Charlotte.
Anytime he clicks that 5-point harness up, this young man right here is a threat to win, and I expect him to be a threat today.
So Kyle Busch getting ready to go from the number 3 position again. He, the closest pursuer to Clint Boyer in the Nationwide Series Championship so far. Delayed by rain by nearly 3 hours now. Race was supposed to go green about 3 o'clock Eastern time, and that's about 3 hours will be when it goes, when we have the ceremonies and then the drivers buckle aboard. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's go trackside now. We'll get the opening ceremony, and then we're going to go racing, finally, on the Monster Mile here in Dover.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? Today's colors being presented by the 2nd Battalion, 87th Infantry of the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum, New York. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you for our invocation, Pastor Dan Schaefer of the Calvary Assembly of God in Hightstown, New Jersey.
Shall we pray? Almighty God, we thank you for Dover International Speedway. We thank you for our sponsors for this day. We thank you for our racers and our race teams. And most importantly, we thank you for our country, the great country, the United States of America. And we want to remember those that are home and abroad that are giving us this freedom that we have today. So we're grateful and we're thankful. And as always, we pray for a great race. We pray for a safe race. In Christ's name, amen. Shalom.
And would you please remain standing as I present to you nationally acclaimed Simplicity recording artist Ashley Aldrich for today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets irregular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And finally, time for the drivers to buckle in and the pit crews to go to work. 200 miles for the NASCAR Nationwide Series coming up from the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series comes to you from Dover, Delaware. We are ready, finally, for 200 miles at Dover International Speedway, our coverage presented by DAP. Weather has been the story of the day so far. We were actually under a tornado watch earlier today in Delaware. Right now, though, mostly cloudy skies, temperature 68 degrees. Hopefully all the rain has passed and it's time to go upstairs and watch some racing. Let's bring in Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc?
Thank you very much, Alan. Great job down there, you and Brad. You know, history's been made at this racetrack a lot of times over the years. 13 first-time winners. Look at some of the names here. Rudd, Martin, Waltrip, Todd Bodine, Mike Wallace, of course, and Scott Wimmer, the first-time winners back in October of 2002. Hello, everyone. Along with Rusty Wallace, Andy Petrie, I'm Jerry Punch, and thank you so much, fans, for staying with us here some 2.5 hours on a rain delay. We are finally going to get underway here momentarily. Guys, there are 24 drivers in this field today who have never won a NASCAR Nationwide Series race, 7 qualifying in the top 12. Who among those could be another first-time winner?
Well, Doc, I think the next name for that list might be Brad Keselowski. That guy has been running consistently up front. He has been a contender week in and week out. It's just a matter of time, and it might happen right here.
Hey, guys, I got to pick Kelly Byers. I mean, this kid's been strong. He's qualified good here. Kelly Byers could have a win here today at Dover.
And what about Joey Logano making his first ever start? How about the drivers who won their first NASCAR Nationwide Series race in their first start? Some pretty impressive names there. How about Dale Earnhardt Sr. back in 1982 at Daytona? Terry Labonte, 2 guys did it here. Ricky Rudd and Joe Ruttman at the Monster Mile, of course. And Kurt Busch won in his very first start at Texas in 2006. Well, folks, things are back to normal. The weather has moved away. The track is dry. Brad Doherty is full of cookies. And that means we must be ready to race here at Dover, Delaware. So it's time to go trackside and get the command to start.
And now here to set the field into motion is the Executive Vice President of Sales and Merchandising, Giant Carlisle, Mr. Jeff Martin.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 24,000 associates at Giant Food Stores, gentlemen, start your engines.
Crank them up, gang. Crank them up. Fired up. All right, bud, fired up. All right, boys, I want to thank you first for all your hard work getting this race car ready for us. Got a pretty fast race car. Make sure you take care of your business. David, take care of that race car for me. Let me know what we can do. It's a long race, nice and smooth.
Engines have fired in 43 of NASCAR's finest, set to get it on here at the Monster Mile. Our in-race reporter is a 2-time winner here at Dover, Delaware in 2002. On his way to his first NASCAR Nationwide Championship, Greg Biffle won this race and did it again 2 years later in 2004. We'll talk to him when we come back. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series presented by DAP. Take a look at our starting grid. In concrete, Carl Edwards picks up his 2nd pole of the year, 9th of his career, and it'll be Edwards and him when starting exactly the way they finished here in this race last June. Now, while you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, driver of the City Financial Ford, starting back in 10th today, Greg Biffle.
Hey, Greg Biffle, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, Rusty.
Hey, Greg, man, you got some momentum going right now. You finished 2nd in the Cup race last week at Charlotte. You qualified 10th here, looking really good. You think this car is good enough to continue on with that momentum?
I really think it is, Rusty. Adding all the guys, this is a great car we got here. We've run really good every time we brought it to the track, and I like this place here. So doesn't look like all the rubber's quite gone on the racetrack. We'll just have to take care of it here. We got a caution first 25 laps, so we'll see how it runs till then, make some adjustments.
All right, buddy, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Look, I've got an ESPN.com mailbag question from Carl in Hollister, California. The question is, with all the rubber washed off the racing surface, how long will it take for the track to get the rubber back on it?
Well, Carl, it should take about 20 laps or so. 30 laps, we're going to see this track really start to rubber back up again. And that's why NASCAR decided to throw a competition caution at 25. Everybody will come in and put tires on. I think the track's going to be fine after that.
All right, have a great day, buddy.
Thanks.
Calling the shots for Greg today will be crew chief Eddie Pardue. Let's visit with Eddie.
Eddie Pardue, Andy Petrie up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 4, loud and clear.
Eddie, this pit road is tricky under any condition, and we got a little water on it right now. What are you going to do to keep Greg from banging that car up, getting in and out of his pit stall?
It's going to be tough. It's pretty wet down at the end of pit road, but like I said, lap 25, I imagine we'll be creeping down pit road. It's, as you know, it's pretty tight. The City Financial Ford Fusion has been pretty fast all weekend, so we're looking forward to getting this thing started here.
Hey, 10-4, how about your car? Is it pretty adjustable now that we've got a kind of a different condition to race in?
Absolutely. We've got rubbers hanging in the back, and we're going to work pretty hard with our air pressure, so we're excited about it.
Okay, Eddie, you and Greg have a great race.
And you see there the 16 of Greg Biffle. Other high-definition onboard cameras. Mike Bliss starts 4th in the Miccosukee Resorts Chevrolet. Mike Wallace, 17th, the Geico Toyota. You've already heard from Greg Biffle, who starts 10th. Joey Logano making his debut. Starts 9th in the GameStop Toyota. Kenny Wallace starts 29th, the U.S. Border Patrol Chevrolet. Scott Wimmer, the winner earlier in the year at Nashville, starts 16th in the Holiday Inn Chevy. Stanton Barrett starts 33rd in the GrandStay.net DAP Chevy. And Kyle Busch, the winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway a week ago, starts 3rd in the Dollar General Toyota, carrying our nationwide onboard camera. We got a very special pit reporter down on pit road. And let's ask this guy who's wired up for sound here what we can expect today. DJ Kopp out of Ontario, New York will be one of the tire changers for Brad Keselowski. DJ.
Hey guys, how are you? Hey man, all my life I've grown up watching ESPN, and Doc, I don't even think you know it, but you're a big reason I got into this sport. But once I got out here and moved down from New York, I got to realize there's a lot more in this sport than I got to see on TV. So that's what I'm hoping to change today. After my 13th season in being in this sport, I'm going to bring a different view to all the viewers at home, I hope, before the pit stop, giving you an understanding of what I'm going to be getting prepared for during the pit stop, and definitely afterwards. I'm going to break it all down for you.
Thank you, DJ. Welcome aboard. Now, this is the protocol. What's going to happen right now? All the drivers are on the track. They're giving feedback to their drivers, to their teams, actually, and they're reporting to NASCAR saying what they see out there, if everything is safe to go. And at that point, NASCAR will decide when they'll drop the green flag. In the meantime, as you see behind me, the jet dryers going by, making a couple pass-throughs because pit lane is still wet. Now, Greg Biffle mentioned there's going to be a competition yellow at lap 25. That means the drivers come down pit road, but they cannot take fuel. In the meantime, all the pit crews up and down right now, they have to stay on the wall, but they will come out and they'll bring their dryers out in a last-ditch effort to get it dry down here. Shannon Spake?
Well, Jamie, it was just 3 weeks ago in Richmond when two-time nationwide champion Kevin Harvick and his own KHI number 33 team came just laps away from going to victory lane for the very first time. Now, since that race, the team has been, as they described, simply terrible. Now, I spoke with Wally Rogers this morning. He told me, we tried some new things and they just didn't work. So they're back to square one, back to where they started. He told me he is confident in this team, very confident, so confident, in fact, it's as confident as they've been since, well, Richmond. Dave.
Shannon, our championship leader, Clint Boyer, starts way back in 21st position. He's got a lot of room to make up before he ever thinks about winning this race. He's gotten 2 pieces of advice, one from car owner Richard Childress. This race will be about track position, so try to get it by the end, and we may stay out later and maybe not take on 4 tires every time. Also from spotter Jimmy Kitchens, he said, driver, remember, they have a tendency to stack up off turn 2 at the start of this race, the first couple 3 laps. Be careful. If Clint does that and picks the cars off one at a time, he can find his way to the front. Dr. Punch?
Thank you, Dave. And for how these guys handle the track conditions and how they're going to be able to adapt here early on, why don't we head down to our Chevy cutaway car and hear from one of our special crew chiefs, former championship crew chief Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. What the caution is implemented for, the competition caution, they had a lot of tire wear here the other day. And matter of fact, 30, 35 laps, they had these tires literally in the cords. So what they're going to do, they're going to throw that thing 25 laps in and let the tire specialist get an indication of what kind of tire wear they're doing. Because the last thing you want to do here at Dover, Delaware is blow a tire. So they can adjust the chassis, adjust the wedge, air pressure in the tires. But as the race goes on, as long as they're grinding rubber into the racetrack, the tire wear is going to get incredibly better throughout the event. Jerry?
Great point, Tim. The competition yellow to be able to get some rubber on the racetrack and take care, particularly of that right rear tire, which we saw some wear at early on in the first practice on Friday. Our race analysis, it is a 200-mile, 200-lap race on a 1-mile racetrack. Pit road speed, that may seem slow, but this is a very, very tricky pit road here at 35 miles an hour. There is the pit window, 85 to 90 laps on fuel. The tires can go that far. 24-degree banking. Yeah, it's a 3-story high concrete bank, and even the straightaways are banked at 9 degrees. So it is sort of like a bowl, like a big Bristol, some of the drivers say. But it is a fun racetrack to watch, and there is the ongoing work on pit road. Now, we know who the favorites are, but how about some of the drivers who may have qualified pretty well and may bear watching as sleepers here today? Andy?
I think that 22 car, Josh Wise, he has really impressed me. The last week at Charlotte, Lowe's Motor Speedway, he was very strong and solid. He's come in here and qualified 11th, and he was talking about he wasn't really happy with that. So I like his attitude, and they're running really well. They got Steve Darn on the pit box down there. He's got a lot of experience, so maybe not a contender to win, but definitely a guy to watch.
I just got to pick Kelly Byers. I mean, I watched Kelly qualify here, really well, qualified 8th, and his car's been handling good all week long and keeps getting better and better every week. So I got to pick Kelly for my sleeper.
Trying to get pit road dry, and here's a couple of guys we're going to keep an eye on there. The veteran driver for the Joe Gibbs team is in the 18 car of Denny Hamlin. And let's talk about, I think Hamlin is actually talking to the 20 car of Logano. Let's listen in.
Just take your time, man. Don't get in a hurry too early. Everyone's going to really be anxious because I think this race is going to be short, but just take your time. You know what? You got to do this. All right, thanks. Appreciate it, Danny. Good luck to you, man. Congratulations.
That is the communication of a veteran driver talking to this young man here, 18-year-old Joey Logano. Not only is he making his first start in the series, he has got a great qualifying spot, very high expectations, and probably the best car in the series thus far here in 2008.
Doc, I tell you what, I mean, one thing I like NASCAR is doing right now is going to throw this mandatory caution at lap 25. That gives the driver a lot of confidence. He knows that if his car is off, he's not going to get lapped. He can get down pit road and get it fixed. So, man, with all this rain, Andy, that's a real good feel for a driver to know they got that coming.
Well, the reason that NASCAR does that so the teams can predict the tire wear. Right now, they don't know. They don't really know how far the tires will go. Once they do a 25-lap run, then they will be able to predict it. And we see a little spot here on pit road, some of that.
Let's show you what happened. That's why we are still running under caution, waiting for the green. Now watch the dryer coming by and just blew up the asphalt right off the edge there of pit road, right where the asphalt and concrete seam comes together. As they were trying to dry it, it just blew a big hole there in the asphalt right where you come off of pit road or come onto pit road exiting turn 4.
That'll give you a little bit of appreciation of how much force those jet engines have. They've called the green off for that.
Well, if anybody's got an asphalt machine, get it over here. We need it fixed by tomorrow at least, right? I couldn't. You see a lot of crazy things at races, and that was one of the weirdest things I think I've seen. That's just amazing. Jerry, I've seen potholes in the track. They patch full of concrete. But this is unreal.
We have seen some very bizarre things happen at the entrance to this pit road over the years, but that may take the cake right there. Trying to dry the track and obviously get some of the moisture off, and wow, it just blows a big patch of the asphalt up.
Really just going to create a bump right there, Rusty. I don't think it's going to be a big problem for them. It's right there in that lane where they're coming in. Most of the cars that are pitted on the other end of pit road will be in the right-hand lane and be going around that.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Andy. I don't think, that's going to affect them. Like you say, it's a little bump. The drivers will come in, they'll feel that. The crew chiefs remind their drivers, hey, watch that section. But other than that, I don't think it's going to affect this race at all.
Kenny Wallace on board the 28 car. U.S. Border Patrol onboard camera. You saw Mike Wallace a moment ago, a first-time winner here. How about this guy here? How good has Mike Bliss been at this racetrack? 2 top 10 finishes in the 2 races a year ago, getting very, very close to getting that win here in 2008.
Not just this racetrack. Mike Bliss runs good everywhere. I really am a Mike Bliss fan, so to speak, because it seems to be underrated to me. He comes in here, he's got a lot of experience. He goes fast, qualifies good. I mean, what's not to like? Great team player, too.
While they're getting this track dry, there is Bobby Hamilton Jr. and our Dave Burns is down in their pit area. Dave?
Yeah, we're going to find out if crew chief Chris Wright has ever seen anything like this. It's a little past your turn-in point there, but is that going to affect your pit stops today?
I don't necessarily think so, because you can start into your pit a couple back. So I think we're going to be okay. I don't like it, if that's a question, but no, I've never seen anything like that either.
And so standing here, all of a sudden you just saw the track coming up. The jet dryer did its job, but a little too well, huh?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. We'll see what happens. I don't really think we're going to be here much longer anyway, to be honest with you.
You're pointing up to the sky again.
Yeah.
He thinks he's been looking at the radar too, so he's got asphalt flying around here, and he's looking at the radar again, guys. There may be some more green on it, according to Chris Wright.
Weather in the area all afternoon. They were calling for scattered thunder showers. We had a doozy about 1:30 this afternoon. That's produced the delay here. We were scheduled to be green at 3 o'clock, just after 6 o'clock here. Glad to have you staying with us for live coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. It is race number 14 of 35. These cars will move to the Nashville Superspeedway, another concrete oval, next week on Saturday night, as these guys will be trying to see who can conquer the concrete here in 2008. Now, when we left you last week at Lowe's Motor Speedway at the end of the race, there were some tempers flaring both on and off the racetrack, and they involved young Brad Keselowski and the veteran Denny Hamlin. Let's take you back to those final laps at Charlotte. Caution for the 11th time tonight.
Well, I'm guessing that contact on the racetrack was not accidental.
Denny knocked the fender off his car. I'm not happy about that.
83 looking out for his teammate, not going to take it. They're mixing it up down in the pits there.
Somebody's going to punch somebody.
For some reason, he picked my back tires up in the middle of 1 and 2, pulled up beside me, so I retaliated.
He doesn't like when guys race him hard. Well, that's the sport. I raced him hard, and he didn't think that was cool, so he decided to take my left front fender off.
If you throw a rock, I'm going to throw a concrete block back.
Hurt Brad's chances of having a good run, but it just tore the fender up. I mean, there was no excuse in it.
Don't impress me by having your whole crew over here. Now, bring the driver over here and let us talk about it.
Well, I'm not so sure I agree with Denny Hamlin. I think that Brad Keselowski was doing exactly what he needed to do for his team, and I like a guy that races hard.
There's one thing about NASCAR, Andy, I do know. That was last week. This is this week. They better get over it, and I really do think they are over it right now.
Hamlin in the 18. He starts second, and folks, Keselowski starts back in 5th spot. These guys are probably going to be very close together within a few laps. We're going to be interesting to see what happens.
It seems like that's the way it always happens. When two guys get together the previous week, they qualify almost next to each other the next week.
It always happens every single week. All right, guys, we're getting ready to go here shortly. One thing these drivers have to watch, I really do think, Andy, this track's going to be pretty slippery early on. And we do have that caution flag coming at lap 25, so expect the cars to be sliding around a little bit. Not as much grip right now.
And we heard one of the guys say in the turn 2, you get a stack up, and this is a prime example right here when the track is a little bit slick. Those guys need to take it easy on this first lap, especially through 1 and 2.
Remember last time Carl Edwards was on the pole a couple of weeks ago at Darlington, he slapped the wall on lap 1 and again on lap 3. He was already been told by his crew chief, hey guys, just take it easy up there.
Now right here, as we're exiting turn 2, as you see the cars, you come out of that ditch down there and drive up the bank, and that's where the cars generally get real loose. So if the track conditions, if there's not much rubber there like there isn't now, expect to watch that corner right there and also the exit of turn 4.
Okay, Carl Edwards, like you said, he crashed his car at Darlington the first lap. Now, what's he going to do right here starting on the pole, Rusty? Is he going to let Denny Hamlin lead this first lap?
No way in the world. He's going to sail that baby down in there and try to get away from him. But one thing he doesn't want to do, Andy, is go in there side by side, laying his right side door against the left-hand side of Denny, because that'll make his car very, very loose.
We've waited all afternoon, folks. Thanks for hanging with us. We left you in Charlotte. It was about respect. Drivers not respecting each other, but they had better respect the monster today. Glad to have you with us. Good crowd coming back inside to enjoy live NASCAR Nationwide Series action as we get set for the green flag at the Monster Mile. Denny Hamlin said he had the car to beat. He didn't qualify as well as he would like. We said our car will be very good in the race, but can Concrete Carl hang on and lead the first lap? Here they come out of turn 4.
You were right, Rusty. He's going for it.
He's trying, but I tell you what, I thought he would have cleared Denny Hamlin getting into turn 1, and Denny hung really good on the outside of the track, and look at that outside groove go.
Track's got a lot of grip in it. I'm a little surprised it's got that much grip.
I am too. I really thought it'd be much slippier than what it is right now, but I think that these cool conditions have got these cars running fast and creating a lot of grip at the moment.
Toyota, Ford, Toyota, and then 2 Chevys. That's the top 5 here at lap 2.
Now, one thing that Denny Hamlin knew, if he didn't get the pass done and get in front of Carl, he was going to get freight trained to the very back, maybe lose 8 to 10 positions, and he didn't want to do that.
31 car on pit road early on. That is Kenny Hendrick having an issue. Here is an 18-year-old. That's Landon Castle battling with a 20-year-old. Brad Coleman. That is for 7th spot.
Hey, what guys. I'm really amazed how the top side of this racetrack is pretty good. Evidently, the truck race they had last night laid a lot of rubber down. It hasn't got washed off totally. The cup practice has helped pretty good, too. Jamie, what's going on with that 20 car?
Well, you guys, Joe Gibbs is the man who brought Joey Logano up in this development series the last 3 years. And when the green flag dropped for Joey's first race here, Joe Gibbs closed his eyes and clenched his fist and held them that way for the first lap, watching, and I'm sure hoping and praying that his driver's going to be all right in his debut here at Dover.
Change for second position as Kyle Busch has sailed by the 60 of Edwards to take the spot away. Edwards now falling back into the growth. There's the battle. How about Joey Logano passing the guy who's the Cup pole sitter for tomorrow and a former series champion, Greg Biffle?
And Greg Biffle was hanging tough on the outside. He didn't just give it to Joey. He raced him for it.
Well, he answered a question for me right now. Is he going to lay back or is he going to get after it? Logano just stood in the throttle and passed Biffle and went for it, and now they know they've got that lap 25 caution coming if the car's off and needs to be adjusted. So he's looking pretty good right now. He's settled in.
Clint Boyer, points leader, who started back in the pack, and he said he's going to have to tiptoe. He started in 21st position, now trying to move up into 19th. They're battling with the 38 of Jason Leffler. Jason Keller there, by the way, in the 11, and Stephen Wallace, the 66. Edwards moving back, and Mike Bliss moving up. That is fourth position as Bliss takes the third spot away.
These engines this year have about 80 horsepower less than last time they were at this racetrack. So that second lane, Andy, does not surprise me that they got that momentum, got that car wound up, and they need to do that to keep the speed up.
And they're in the throttle almost all the way around this racetrack. So it's, it's a lot different than it was last year. The guys would back off a little bit, get in the corner, let it roll, and get on the throttle. Now they're almost in it all the way around. They just burp it a little in the middle.
Here are the two guys you guys talked about, the 88 and the 47. These were your sleepers to watch for the win today. Keselowski and Kelly Byers trying to make a move. These guys are racing for position. That is fifth and sixth.
Both these fellas got pretty good cars. Keselowski and also Byers. Got pretty good, strong crew chiefs. Been around the sport for a long time. They know what the track does generally. And looks like right now they got both those cars hooked up pretty good.
More on Keselowski with Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, coming off his best finish last week, as you guys just spoke about. I spoke with Brad right before the race. I asked him how his car was because he was complaining about the fact that it was a little bit loose in practice sessions. He told me with this rain and the way that the track has changed, it is going to be, quote, just right.
Tell you what, I was just watching the guys come down into turn 3 to 31 car of Kenny Hendrick is running slow right now. There's something wrong with that car. And he really stacked the field up just a little while ago.
Marcus Ambrose gets inside of him here and rubs him pretty hard.
Let's take a look at this left rear tire. He might have lost the left rear in that encounter with Ambrose and cut it down.
He's slow on the apron getting into turn 3 coming to the pits.
We stay green flag racing, and now Logano falling back into the clutches of Greg Biffle.
Okay, now here's a veteran driver racing a rookie hard early in the race. We talked about this, how these rookies were, not supposed to race the veterans. The veteran's racing the rookie here.
Well, I think that the veteran knows the capability of this rookie, and he knows that he's given enough room. But also, I really don't think Greg's car, Greg Biffle we're talking here in the 16 car, is exactly where he wants it right now. I see a little smoke coming off the right rear tire. Andy, that tells me he doesn't have this car handling where he wants it right now.
That is 7th, 8th, and 9th. 18-year-old Landon Castle in the 5 car. 18-year-old Joey Logano in the 20. Do you see a theme going here, guys? Sort of a youth movement, and behind him is the veteran Greg Biffle.
Yeah, well, Logano's got that car really handling good on the bottom of the track.
And Greg Biffle looked like he just about scraped the wall. If he didn't, maybe catch a piece of it there.
And they're running that second lane pretty good. I mean, if they can continue doing that, they'll rubber the top of this racetrack in and just give us a lot wider racing groove to make some passes. If you get locked on the bottom of the track, the only place you're going to pass them is off the corner. But if you can work that top lane in, you can actually sail in on the top side of them and get some passing done there also.
On board with Greg Biffle a moment ago. Watch Logano moving on the inside of Castle.
I tell you, he just barely kissed that wall. I don't think he hit it, but he was so close to it just then. It's like, whoa, nah, nothing on the wall. I think he's okay.
Shannon?
Yeah, in the pre-race show, we heard Greg Biffle talk about how much he loves this track. He just says he loves it because it is so challenging for a driver. Right now, Greg Biffle's got a little bit of a challenge on his hands because he says that the car is getting a little tight.
Getting a little bit tight. You can tell when he came off at turn 4, he just had to jump out of the throttle a little bit. And guys, he barely saved that. It almost kissed that wall. Because I didn't see the back of that car out. I saw that front end taking off towards the wall. And the only thing you can do then, Andy, jump out of that throttle. That's the only thing you can do to save it.
All right, Andy, how do you fix it? We got that competition caution coming up in about 6 laps here. What are you going to do to the 16 car and try to help it?
Well, the one thing you can do is raise the track bar up on the right side. That's a quick adjustment. You can run it up 3 or 4 rounds on the right side or even take a little wedge out. I think if Greg's tight at this point of the day, I would go ahead and start adjusting on the screws and then save some of that air pressure adjustment for later when you want to save time on pit road.
I do the same thing.
Well, good. We're on the same page today.
We tried to tell Kevin Harvick to do that in practice. He didn't listen. But that's a great decision to do that, I would think, especially at a track that's got so much corner.
Battle for 12th position. You see David Rudiman has a 12th spot in the 99 car. That is a backup car as you move back up front and watch this battle.
No.
Oh, contact. Landon Castle's car gets a little tap.
Let him figure it out. Clear to the bottom.
And around he goes, and Biffle able to get woed down. But that will bring out the caution flag here on lap number 20.
Man, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it looked like Greg was just a little too aggressive with that.
Hang on a minute.
Okay, but get in the corner.
Landon Castle, damage on his National Guard Chevrolet.
And Jerry, here in the free pass is going to be the 30 car Stanton Barrett. He'll get that. But that's a mystery right there. I mean, there was a time to slow that car up, and evidently Greg just got in deep, and Landon's car wasn't handling that well. He maybe got out of the gas a little bit early. They just came together real fast. I mean, because you got a veteran there. We were just talking about the veterans. And it's pretty uncharacteristic.
If we're talking about give and take early in the race, that's when you expect the veterans to be a little more careful. And we saw Greg racing extremely hard early.
Well,
but I said I like a guy that races hard, no matter whether he's a rookie or a veteran. I like a guy that races hard.
Watch the contact again here. There's the 16, and doesn't take much. Let's see how much of a nudge there was, or if there was.
Well, it looked like maybe he got a little bit loose, and then maybe Greg tapped him.
You know, they were at the fastest part of the racetrack to entry, into the corner. And boy, let's watch this again. Man, that will flat make you loose when you got a guy up your bumper like that. That thing just came around.
Let's ride with Greg right here. You can see the closure rate from the cockpit. He's right there. Definitely some contact there.
Let him figure it out. Clear to the bottom.
This will count as the what was going to be the competition caution at lap 25. The rule was no one could come in and take fuel until that caution, but now with this caution at lap 20, everyone will be able to come on board. And again, by the way, our Aaron's lucky dog is Stanton Barrett in the 30 car. He will be the first car a lap down. He'll be able to get back on the lead lap. So good effort there by Stanton Barrett to be the Aaron's lucky dog free pass award winner and getting back on the lead lap.
Well, guys, the tough thing about the caution flag coming out right now is that these teams only get 6 sets of tires. They grind a set off in practice, grind a set off qualifying, and right now this track is so green, it's grinding them off right now. It's tough.
Remember how difficult it is to get on the pit road here. We've had issues trying to get on the pit road. There are people watching from the bridge. How about the neat perspective here at Dover International Speedway where the cars go right underneath? That is a suite that people are willing to use during the race to be able to have their guests watch the cars go right under them at over 150 miles an hour. Cars coming down. It's time to go down to our Castrol GTX triple pits, and we head down to pit road and Jamie Little.
And Denny Hamlin started first, or actually started second. He's moved up to first, and they're going to take on some Sunoco fuel. They're going to take 4 tires, and he wants just a quarter turn on that track bar just to help the balance just a little bit. Remember, they're coming down pit road for the first time. This is where the wettest spot on the track has been. They start on asphalt, and they pull into their pit box, which is concrete. Denny Hamlin, nice stop here. The crew goes to work. And And this was a break. The team was happy they're allowed to take fuel this time because it is not the competition. Let's go to Shannon.
Well, Jamie, your pole sitter Carl Edwards saying that the car was a little tight on that first run, but it did start to free up a little bit. And then you see below that number 20 car, Joey Logano making his first pit stop in the Nationwide Series. They're going to try to free that car's a little bit free getting into the corners. They're going to raise the track bar, air pressure, and a wedge adjustment, guys.
Race off of pit road. Brad Coleman gaining 8 positions. We'll talk about some of the pit strategy. There's Joey Logano back 4, making his first competitive pit stop. How about the crew cam? Jackman Richard Russell going to work on Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s car, trying to get him on and off pit road in a hurry. It just gets really a hustle on pit road. And we welcome you back to this race is actually named the Heluva Good 200 after the company that has it's a dairy products company up here sponsoring the race, and there is some damage on the front of the 20 car. We'll show you what happened momentarily as we get set to go back to green flag racing here on lap 25.
Brad Coleman's done something to pick up 8 positions, and he evidently put no tires or maybe just right side tires or something, because he picked up a lot of positions on that last stop.
He may lose a few spots here, but it might be a good move just to try to gain a little extra track position.
Brad Coleman is in the 27 car, his best qualifying effort of the year after testing a Cup car. So that really got him fired up this week, testing a Cup car up at Pocono, and then he came here and put his Nationwide car in the top 10 and qualified.
This caution flag come on at lap 21, and almost the entire field put 4 new tires on it, which really takes their allotment and kills a set of tires right off the bat. So right now, like I said, they've used a set for practice. That put them down to 5 sets. That has burnt one now. Now they're down to 4 sets, and also a set they qualified on. So they don't want any cautions to come out too quick here and use another set.
NASCAR rules limit these teams to 6 total sets for the weekend. Leffler, the 38 car, making a move.
That tire deal shouldn't really come into play if the track rubber's in really good and we get some long green runs. I think we'll be okay, but you know, like you say, if the cautions keep flying and these guys have to put a set of tires on every time it comes out, it could be an issue. Some of the guys may have to stay out and not even put on tires.
88 car of the Navy Chevrolet running in 4th position. Brad Keselowski, very good pit stop for that crew. In fact, we're going to take you there. And live with that pit stop, DJ Kopp a moment ago. Here's what happened when he came on to change 4 tires.
Here we go. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lean back. Pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tires in the way. Gotta go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull. Sets the gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's clear. Had a little bit of an issue there. Wasn't too bad though. Like I said, least amount of mistakes. We got time.
DJ Kopp there doing that. I think that's a pretty good job for what he did for those tires. You were a tire changer for many years, Andy. What about that?
That's exactly what it's like, changing the tires. Here goes Brad Coleman under Carl Edwards. Carl just gives him the spot. But that's exactly what it's like. I mean, you're telling yourself, you're actually saying that to yourself, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to try to keep that rhythm and then, you know, pull back. And you try to say all these things in your head so you can do that. It's like a rhythm, and you have to get into it. He does a great job right there.
Tell you what, this is the first time I've ever heard that. I mean, listen to a tire changer actually say that. That was a great thing that he did for us right there. I was really impressed when he said pull. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he counts and says pull. That was pretty hot.
And he said tires in the way, got to go, when he still was able to dance. You got to be an athlete down there to be able to do that. Here's a pretty good battle. A points leader in the 2-car. Clint Boyer, these 8 cars are battling for 9th, or probably 12th, 13th, and 14th spot.
Now, Boyer was really falling back on that first stint right there. He really got behind. They made some changes right now. It looks like it's helped the car. He's actually running about 3/10 faster than he was earlier in that run.
Started back in 21st, now up to 13th. Here's Kelly Byers in the 47 car, trying to get beneath the 27. Brad Coleman for 7th spot. There's Bliss right behind him in the 1.
Kelly Byers gets really loose coming up off the corner.
Looks like he's got a quicker car right on the bottom of the racetrack. But when you exit the corner, Andy, and if you're alongside of a car, man, it just makes you big time loose. But he's cleared him now. Let's see if he can check out on him.
Brad Coleman losing a lot of spots. I'm sure he You know, he did not take 4 tires like these guys did. We don't know if we took 2 or none, but looks like whatever it is, he's paying the price.
And Brad Coleman gained 8 positions on that pit exchange, so he obviously was some tire strategy involved.
Tell you what, if this thing goes green for a long time, that type of call can really bite you. I mean, if you really get hung out there in tires, those things will slip and slide on you. That competition just checks out, and you're thinking, man, did I make the wrong call? But, you know, he's a little bit off in his time, but he's about, like I said, I'm looking here, about 4/10 slower than the leader, so he just needs to hold on.
10th, 11th, 12th, the 27 cars. 10th there. The 11th is the 16 of Biffle. 12th, how about Casey Kane moving in? As Kane just keeps reeling these two cars in and trying to get his car in the top 10. Last time, in fact, Kane's best finish this year was on concrete at Bristol. He finished second and had the fastest car on the track late in the race when the rains came out of Bristol.
Guys, I really think you're going to see the complexity of this race change a lot right now as these things go on, because we're at lap 38. We were talking to Greg Biffle, our in-race report. We've got a lead change right now. Kyle Busch.
Couple of teammates in Cup. They are not teammates today. That's Kyle Busch in the 32 car for Todd Braun, passing the 18 of Denny Hamlin.
Looked like Denny Hamlin gave him the spot after Kyle got in there, had position on him. He gave it to him.
And the 2 leaders going for it. It's way too early in the race to rough each other up right now. Just he's got the spot, let him go.
That puts Denny Hamlin back in second position, and the guy behind him will be, guess who? The 88 car of Brad Keselowski, trying to reel in Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. This could be interesting. Keselowski and Hamlin, if they get together here as the laps tick off, 40 laps in of 200 at Dover.
After a 3-hour-plus rain delay, the NASCAR Nationwide Series racing on the Monster Mile in Dover. Our coverage presented by DAP, and the yellow flag waving for a second time at lap 46 of 200. Trouble down in turns 1 and 2. Doc, what's going on?
24 car of Eric McClure involved. The 52 car is Donnie Neuenberger out of Brandywine, Maryland. They have come together, had some contact. That is the Jimmy Means owned car. There's the 24 we talked about, Eric McClure, one of the regulars here in the series. And watch top of your screen, the contact.
Well, it looks like Donnie Neuenberger was on the top of the track and came down in front of the 24 car of Eric McClure, and McClure just got pinched down the bottom. It looked like there was no room for him to go.
Out the front of Stan Barrett's windshield, there's the contact.
Right there in front of you, go low, good job, Timmy.
Pretty hard lick for Donnie.
And these cars able to get back, flat tire on the left front there. But Neuenberger not quite so fortunate. He had taken the steering wheel off, and now we'll try to put it back on. There come the safety crews over to give him an assist.
He tried to drive it away, but it just would not go. Here you can see he's got a lot of damage to the suspension. Looks like the rear end's broken under it and the trailing arms.
It doesn't look like Donnie knew that McClure was getting underneath him at that point. Just made his normal line on entry down into turn 1, and not enough room for both of them.
This will make Morgan Shepherd a former winner here at Dover, the Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass Award winner. Morgan, the first car and first driver a lap down, will now be able to get back on the lead lap by virtue of this, the second caution flag of the day. Caution on the speedway, lap 47. We'll take a break and come back to Dover. O'Reilly NHRA Summer Nationals qualifying coming your way tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. on ESPN2. And then the Summer Nationals Finals 4 Eastern time tomorrow on ESPN2. How about some IndyCar action? The IndyCar 225 at Milwaukee tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Under caution for the second time today here at Dover Downs, Dover International Speedway. Several guys pitting off a sequence. Jason Leffler on and off pit road in the 38 car. Scott Wimmer in the 29, the 5 car of Landon Castle. Also, by the way, the 59 coming on and off pit road a moment ago, Marcus Ambrose. Under caution, let's listen in to the radio communications with Carl Edwards and crew chief Pierre Cattell.
Like 10-4, think about taking a pound out of the right front, maybe a little wedge out of it.
Thinking, what we got here, folks? Air pressure. You take 1 pound of air pressure out of that tire, what that's going to do is take 60 pounds of spring rate away from the thing. What it's going to do is enable it to turn a little bit better through the corner. Doc?
Thanks, Tim, and talking about how harsh the car is across some of those bumps on the racetrack.
Now, I've been watching that 60 all weekend, and it seems to me like it rides the bumps harsher than most cars I've seen. Probably because he's got a lot stiffer shock package on it.
Yeah, that could be the only thing, because he's probably got the coil bind springs in the front, probably got a pretty good sway bar in it, and I would think the only thing left to really make it jump that hard would be a lot of rebound on those shocks, like you mentioned, Andy.
Carl Edwards back in 4th position, getting set for the restart. It's going to be Kyle Busch, then Denny Hamlin, and then the 88 of Brad Keselowski right beside Hamlin. How much does Hamlin want to keep Keselowski from getting to him, and how much does Keselowski want to catch that 18 car of Hamlin?
I'd say it's pretty equal. These guys should be racing pretty hard.
Here they come. Kyle Busch will lead them down. Green flag here back at the Monster Mile. And Hamlin pulls away. There's a pretty good battle with Bliss in the 1 and the 47 of Byers.
Well, Byers hanging right in there is looking good. I mean, we're lap 52 right now. He hasn't missed a beat. But hey, the car I've been watching, Andy's the 33 car of Kevin Harvick. That thing has been in the top 5, and I think you must have helped him down there, buddy.
Maybe we turned him around a little bit. He looks pretty good, though.
Harvick, the 33 car, trying to get beneath the 88. That is 4th position. That would be for 4th spot.
One thing I'm seeing with Carl Edwards' car, it is fast right off the green. Qualified on the pole. Maybe this harsh setup is fast, but it kind of gives up as we go. What do you know about that 60 car, Shannon?
Oh, well, Carl Edwards, you guys heard him on the radio, just basically saying it's tight around the center. Obviously, they did not come down pit road last time, but when they do pit, PK, Pierre Cattell, his crew chief, expect them to try to remedy that with some air pressure, guys.
Carl Edwards, we nicknamed him Concrete Carl. A year ago, he won 4 times. 4 of the 6 races on the concrete tracks he won, including this one here last spring when he dominated and led 122 laps. He has yet to lead a lap today, but this car getting a little bit better here as the race progresses.
And you got to wonder how high he started on his right front air pressure, because NASCAR has a minimum right front. A little battle for second place with Mike Bliss and Kelly Byers here. But, you know, Edwards can drop some air out of that right front tire if he's got a little bit to give and make that car turn better also.
Mike Bliss finished in the top 10 in both of these events a year ago at Dover, trying to do it again. There's the 9 car. Casey King moving beneath the 47 of Byers.
Hey, look, guys, looks like this thing has settled in just a little bit, but look at Logano down there, the 20 car. He's coming from the back of the pack, back up through there. He had some left front fender damage. The crew brought him back down pit road, beat the left front fender out, put him back on the racetrack, and now he's got the downforce back, and he's charging back up through the pack now.
More on Joey Logano with Shannon.
Yeah, guys, you're right. He did have some problems. Restarted 28th, and as you can see, and as you just said, definitely making his way through the field. I just spoke with Dave Rogers, asked him about that damage on that car. He said, it's fine. We have fixed it. He told me that he thinks Joey is doing a great job out there, and is really confident that his driver can make the move back up front.
Shannon, that car restarted in 28th position, and now he has gained all the way up to 14th. And folks, remember, he is 18 years old and is making his very first ever NASCAR Nationwide Series start here at this racetrack today.
That's pretty impressive that he's able to stay out of trouble and keep his composure at such a young age, and doing a great job moving up through the field.
Dave, update us on Mike Wallace.
Having a good run so far and got a couple of encouragements from veterans in the sport. Truck Series drivers Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday were watching this car practice during its practice runs on Friday. They commented to Mike later, you've got a great race car. They could see the line he was running through the corner, and they wanted him to know, drive it fast, because it's definitely looking good on the track.
He is looking pretty good. He's 11th spot right now, racing for more right there.
Pretty good battle left side of your screen for 18th position.
And you got the 29, Scott Wimmer, Stephen Wallace, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. racing each other right here. Looks like Stephen's running the top side of the track a lot. Wimmer's trying to outrun him on the bottom side of the racetrack. Seems like all these guys are trying to find the fastest groove for their own car.
Yeah, the 29 car, Scott Wimmer, made a pit stop under that last caution when the leader stayed out. he's kind of been struggling, so I'm sure they adjusted on the car, got some tires, and now he's able to start moving forward.
Right behind this group, the 40 car, is Dario Franchitti, who, of course, was injured in the accident in the early laps at Talladega, broke that ankle, and it had to miss the last 3 events. It's good to have Dario back. He said, I really want to get back in the car, and felt very comfortable in the way he was practicing and qualified the car. Dave.
And the car running pretty well for him right now. He has pitted twice under these caution periods. Crew chief Brad Parrott deciding, I'm not going to, hurt my driver in any way by giving him less than I can give him. So let's keep putting tires on it. Let's adjust on the race car. It's been tight for him. They've made track bar and air pressure adjustments both times.
Hey, this is a great race for Dario to get kind of back in the saddle, so to speak. He's not running the Cup race this weekend. Jeremy Mayfield's filled in for him. He told us he just needs some more time to kind of get up to speed. So good run for Dario so far.
Brad Coleman, Jason Leffler. Remember, Leffler, one of the guys who came in and pitted on that most recent of yellow flags. So he's now come from the back of the pack to make his way back toward the top 15. Jamie.
Well, Doc, they tried a different pit strategy with Jason Leffler on lap 21. They brought him in and opted to take 2 tires. Well, it didn't pay off too much. His car was ill handling. He was battling with Brad Coleman, who Brad Coleman was not happy with the way Jason Leffler was driving. Jason Leffler brought it back in lap 48, got 4 tires, made some small adjustments, and said this is much better. But the good news down here, guys, as far as tires are concerned, no cords on the leader, Kyle Busch, no cords on Denny Hamlin, who's second, or Jason Leffler, who's currently running 15.
Tell you what, that's good news when it comes to the tire wear, because that's one of the main reasons they brought him down pit road at lap 25 to take a look at that. And guys, evidently we got enough rubber in this racetrack that is being kind to these Goodyears right now.
66 laps in the books, and Kyle Busch has led 28 of those laps thus far. Sound familiar? Well, 1 week ago on a Saturday night at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Kyle Busch led 3 times for 86 laps, including the final 39 laps. What an effort for Kyle Busch. His 4th win of the year, 3rd different car, 2nd different team. Eighteen-year-old phenom Joey Logano has had an eventful day thus far. Everyone patting him on the back, welcoming him to the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Qualified 9th, and on the first pit stop, well, a little bit of a fender bump there for the left front on the 20 car. Started driving that car really hard, made the pit stop, and had to come all the way back from 28th position following that stop, and clicking them off 1 car per lap over the last 18 laps. And now Joey Logano has again driven that car back into the top 10. There is the leader, Kyle Busch. He is leading. Denny Hamlin in 2nd spot. Carl Edwards, there's Concrete Carl 3rd. Keselowski 4th. Harvick, then Rudeman, Mike Bliss, Casey Kane, Mike Wallace, and there is Joey Logano all the way from 28th back to 10th in 18 laps. Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, the one thing that's been constant with this number 20 team is, of course, their crew chief, Dave Rogers. Now, Rogers' philosophy is if you're happy with what you did yesterday, then you haven't done anything great today. And, of course, this week he faced his biggest challenge, and that was that new driver, the new driver, Joey Logano. He was certainly ready for this race to start. He told me this week, as soon as they fire those engines, all the hype is gone. When he buckles in, then it's time for Logano to prove that he can do something on the track. And his first words to his driver before he pulled out for first practice yesterday, the talk is done, now it's time to get it done. You see Joey Logano getting it done right now.
Shannon, thank you. Very remarkable, very poised young man, much beyond his years of 18. He's been racing since he was 7 years old. Of course, he won the championship of the NASCAR Camping World Series East a year ago and won a 500-mile ARCA event back in May, dominating there. And you see him inside there just right on top of that steering wheel.
Looks like Rusty Wallace used to drive. Get up on top of that wheel.
Look at those eyeballs. I mean, he is so focused. He's got his head right against that wheel. He is just very, very focused and very smooth. I don't see him back steering much. That car looks like it's handling really good.
Pretty congested back in the pack for 18th position. That is Brad Coleman in the 27 car. Scott Wimmer in the 29. We're riding along with Wimmer in 19th position. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right behind him. Dario Franchitti also there. There's Franchitti back in the 40 car. And Marcus Ambrose in the 59.
I'm a little surprised that Scott Wimmer has struggled as much as he has this weekend.
I really am. You know, I flew down here with Jeff Burton the other day, Andy, in his airplane, and he was telling me, so Rusty, boy, we are missing on our nationwide program right now. We put so much effort into the Cup car that I think we've caused this to suffer just a little bit, and they just don't have the dominance that I'm accustomed to seeing. So I know Richard Childress, he'll get back, and his team will work hard and gain that dominance back. Dave?
And as far as what's been going on with the race car today, they put the adjustments back that they had made on the first run. Scott complaining no rear grip at the back of the car whatsoever.
Well,
that's hard to deal with.
If you don't have any grip, that makes you uncomfortable.
This is a car that won at Nashville, concrete racetrack. You think it would carry over to here, and he just really struggled. He's having trouble getting by Brad Coleman, and we know Brad did not get 4 tires when we had that caution at lap 22.
You just got to wonder now that this track is pretty well cycled in. We're lap 81 right now. Another 19 laps, we're going to be at halfway. Whether it rains or not, we know the race is going to be complete. One more pit stop for him. He makes a big adjustments.
Scott's loose. I mean, he's really loose. You can see him fighting that car.
Boy, if you're loose underneath the car, it's hard to pass him. Aerodynamically, it really gets the car sideways. If you're barely holding on with a loose car, it's hard to pass a car.
Great racing back in the pack here. Glad to have you folks staying with us after an almost 3-hour delay because of thunderstorms and heavy rains. The front has moved beyond. The sun is out. Track is dry. We got live NASCAR Nationwide Series action here. And Kyle Busch doing a heck of a job. He came in here 67 points behind Clint Boyer in second spot. And right now, because of the fact that he is leading and Boyer in the 2 cars running in 15th, he has effectively taken the points lead by 10 points over Clint Boyer. Kyle Busch on a march.
This man's amazing, I'm telling you. He's dominating every series that he runs. He may not be winning every race, but every race he seems to have the dominant car or truck. Jamie?
Well, guys, I interviewed Todd Braun, the owner of the car that Kyle Busch is running right now, and I said, how in the world, for a team that's just a 2-car effort, sometimes a 3-car effort, do you get a guy like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Vickers, how do you get him behind the wheel? He said, Jamie, we don't have that kind of money to give to these guys, but these guys are racers, and because of our personal relationship, they want to run. Kyle Busch had these races available, so he's behind the wheel. He brought home the win last weekend, and then this week, Todd Braun announced that he may merge, and he told me he's open to the option of merging, and that may be what he's forced to do if this series does indeed go to the COT car. And Rusty can elaborate on that.
I'll tell you what, it's going to cost a lot of money to take these cars to the new COT nationwide style cars. It's freaking a lot of the drivers out right now. A lot of the team owners are talking about how can they survive if they're going to spend all this money to swap over. So NASCAR, so smart people, they're thinking about that and they're listening.
Kyle Busch, our leader. Now Kyle has led for 49 laps. Behind him is Denny Hamlin in the 18 car in second position. There comes Denny Hamlin in the 18. And then in third spot behind him is Brad Keselowski. There is Hamlin in second position. This is exactly how these top 3 finished at Charlotte. It was Busch, Hamlin, and Keselowski. Now, we asked Brad Keselowski after what happened in the final laps at Charlotte a week ago, what is it about driver protocol and code on the racetrack?
There really is no code to me. To me, when we get in these race cars, there is no more Jeff Burton. There is no more Denny Hamlin. There is no more Kyle Busch. There's the 20, the 32, the 29. And those are just guys that are keeping me from winning or keeping me from a better finish. And I have to race them as hard as I would if they were, a driver that I've never heard of. And when I get in those cars, I don't remember. It doesn't respond to me. All I see is 29, 32, 20.
Well, Brad Keselowski certainly doing a good job holding his own with the Cup drivers right now. He said he's just trying to prove himself. He has one day and one race to do that, and that's what he does here in this nationwide series. Guys, right now the car is loose on the bumps. He told his crew chief, Tony Erie Sr., if I could just tighten the car up a little bit, I can certainly gain some ground.
Brad Keselowski did not even give his car owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr., any room last week. He just sailed by him to take the lead. So he said, you know, I want to be on the racetrack. I want to win. I don't care who's in what car. You got to love a desire and attitude from a young driver who really wants it as bad as Brad Keselowski. This young man, as Dale Earnhardt Sr. would say, has got a fire in his belly. He wants to win, and it just might happen here today.
After a 3-hour delay for rain, the NASCAR Nationwide Series racing on the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. Our coverage presented by DAP. We are about to cross the midway point of this event and make it an official race. We're also approaching some pit stops for some of the leaders. We check out our Holiday Inn Express race summary. Just 3 drivers have led the race today. Those would be Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin LePage for 1 lap. Pretty clean race, just 2 caution flags so far, and 20 of the 43 starters running on the lead lap at this point. After watching how much rain fell here earlier today, Brad, I don't think I'd have bet that we were going to see an official race today, but here it comes.
Well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't have thought that either, Alan, but as we move forward, it's kind of the same old thing. We see Kyle Busch running out front, Denny Hamlin's following up, and Brad Keselowski's having a very strong run. And Joey Logano, after a pit road accident, has worked himself back up to 10th position.
Going to see the leaders on pit road here in just a minute. Let's take you up to speed. Presented by Nationwide Insurance. Go downstairs and find out what we can expect when these stops begin to happen. We start in the leaders' pit with Jamie.
Well, another week, another race, and another race that Kyle Busch has been dominating. He's in that 32 car again, already 4 wins under his belt this season, and he was fighting a grip condition that he was suffering. He said he wasn't getting the same amount of grip as the other cars around him, but he said he didn't want to sacrifice the setup. They didn't make any changes on his one and only pit stop, so he said the car right now is pretty good. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, Brad Keselowski has just moved into 2nd place. He told his crew chief, say that again, Tony Uri Sr., he told him the car is good now. He was having a little bit of problems with it being a little too loose on the bumps, but that car has really come to life. Jamie.
And behind him, Denny Hamlin in the 18 car. He started 2nd, and about 10 laps ago, he came on the radio, scared the heck out of his team, and said, I think we're blowing out, guys. And they said, Denny, are you serious? And we've got a caution on the track, guys.
Caution waving for the 3rd time today. Oh, Brad Coleman had such a great qualifying run here and started.
That was a hard hit.
And 6th spot has had contact with the concrete.
I'm fine, really mad. I knew it was going to happen.
Just past the halfway point, bringing out caution for the 3rd time, and Coleman, who was trying to stay in the top 15, will now have to bring that damaged Ford on the pit road.
I think what he's talking about is their strategy of
Take it to the garage here, guys.
not taking tires for that one caution, that competition caution. Kind of makes you vulnerable. If there's a tire wear issue, you'll be the first one to have a problem.
Well, going for that track position, wanted to get that car up front. It worked pretty good for a while, but then the speed just really fell off. But I'll tell you what, this was a key caution flag. A lot of people were getting ready to hit pit road, and a lot of cars were going to go a lap down. This has got a lot of people feeling good.
Bobby Hamilton Jr., the Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass Award winner. He will get back on the lead lap. He had just been lapped by Kyle Busch. Now that will put 19 cars back on the lead lap. Pit road is closed as they come by this time, and there are the Dollar General guys, Trent Owens and company, getting ready to work, as are the Navy guys. And how about Brad Keselowski now moving all the way up to 2nd position? There's the Holiday Inn guys. Remember, they have had really good runs here over the years. That crew chief, Pat Smith, got his first win as a crew chief here back in 2006 with Jeff Burton driving the car. These guys are fired up. Carl Edwards guys trying to get him on and off pit road in a hurry. Still looking for that first win here in 2008. Denny Hamlin. There's 18, and here's the 88 making the pass on the racetrack. Looks like plenty of room, guys.
Well, 88 car, Brad Keselowski, had been catching this car, this 18 car, and it looks like Denny Hamlin just showed him how you do it. Give him the spot early in the race. Maybe that was just an example he was setting.
Yeah, that was a great move out of Denny Hamlin and Brad. They gave each other a lot of room. They know that everybody's looking at them over what happened last weekend. But honestly, Brad has had about a car about at least 1/10 of a second faster than anybody. Here they come.
Brad Keselowski told our guys in the pit studio, Brad and Alan, that he thought he had the car to beat today. This could be the day for him to get that first win. Here they come down 35 miles an hour on pit road. Let's head down to Jamie Little.
And Kyle Busch is your leader. He said the car is good, as I just reported recently. They're just going to make a little air pressure adjustment, take 4 tires. That 32 Braun Racing team going to work on the right sides. 4th race in a row that Kyle Busch has been behind the wheel here. Different team, though, that he won with last week, even though it is the same car number. They're on the left sides there for Kyle Busch. They had a good first stop, guys, and it looks like it's going to be a solid second start. Oh, and Denny Hamlin just barely gets him on the exit, guys.
Watch the race off pit road. Contact the 88 and the 32 leaving the pits. Hamlin will gain a couple of spots, move to the outside of Kyle Busch on pit road. Kyle loses a spot, and so does Keselowski. David Rudiman up 3. And there's the damage from the contact from the 32 and the 88.
This is a pit road you just can't get off of without hitting each other. It's just so tight. These guys are racing each other for those spots.
And I tell you, I got to see the other car, the 88 car, because if he got hit that hard, toward the left side all the way up. Let's take a look at his fender. Oh yeah, he's got that fender knocked in that 88 car pretty good.
Could even have a toe-in issue there. As hard as they hit, it could have hit that wheel.
He's trying to move around the car pitting in front of him, and there is contact as we exit pit road. We'll try to update the damage on both of these cars when we come back in just a moment. Meanwhile, let's eavesdrop again on DJ Kopp, changing those tires for Brad Keselowski.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get out of the way. 6 to gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watch the hoses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull. 6 to gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 1. Get him out there. Get him out there.
Welcome back to the Monster Mile. Green flag waving once again. Denny Hamlin leads them down. Rudiman, Edwards, Harvick, and Casey Kane, the top 5. By the way, the 16 car of Greg Biffle was sent to the end of the longest line for too fast on entering pit road. He's going to have to climb his way back toward the front.
So Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski came back down pit road, fixed those fenders. Now they're starting in the back half, the motor back up to the front now, guys.
Saw the one car, Bliss, go up across the racetrack and again up across the track.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit right there. I thought maybe the one car or the 20 car got into him a little bit with Joey Logano. But Joey's on the move right here.
18-year-old Joey Logano in the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, making his debut, being shown now in the 6th position.
Door is killed. I can see it in here. Check the front fender. Make sure it's not hurt in front of the tire.
32 car concerned over that tire rub and sort of heavy damage. Rusty, as a driver, how much are you concerned when you're sitting here? How much can you feel that in the car?
Well, I don't think you're really going to feel it unless the tire's actually hitting the fender, and right now it is hitting the fender. He's got smoke coming off that left front tire, Jerry, so the driver can probably smell it for sure. A little smoke in the back side of that tire, Andy, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this. I'd never like to see a tire rub at Dover, because when you blow a tire out here, you hit hard.
154 miles an hour was the qualifying speed. They probably sail off in the corner at over 175 or 80 miles per hour. 32 car damage, trying to make his way back through the field. One driver who has gone to the garage area, that's Brad Coleman, and Dave has caught up with him.
Yeah, we did. Brad, what happened out there?
Well, it felt just like Atlanta did earlier this year. I mean, we were really tight on the long run. Short run, the car is really good, and it just, I felt we're working that right front tire way too much, and I started to take it easy. I started to drive the high line, going down the front straightaway. It just blew up, and that wall comes at you fast here at Dover, I'll tell you that.
You're okay, though?
Yeah, I'm fine. The Scott Ford Fusion over there is not fine, though. I don't think we're going to get back out.
All right, thanks.
Brad Coleman had high hopes today after testing the Cup car at Pocono. Here's the guy they're chasing, Denny Hamlin in the 18 car. Hamlin the leader, David Rudiman in a backup car. Good run for Rudiman in the car that he had troubles with after having a fuel line issue. There's a 99 car. Only ran 3 laps in the first practice, and they had a problem with the fuel line and the carburetor. It caught on fire. Had to go to this car.
You know, Jerry, I want to go back to Brad Coleman just a little bit. he talked about the right front, working the right front tire hard. As a driver, you can turn that thing, and if that front end's sliding, you know it's killing the front tires. You turn it, and it just skates, and it's just abusing it a ton. And Brad felt that, and he said on a soundbite, it was just a matter of time. He knew it was coming.
Hamlin, Rudeman, Edwards, Harvick, Casey Kane, and Joey Logano. There's the 32 car. By the way, with the troubles for Kyle Busch, who's now in 11th position. Clint Bowyer being shown as the points leader. Bowyer being shown now up in the 8th spot.
Let's see if the tire pressure, Andy, coming up on the 32 car, Kyle Busch, if that's causing the smoke to stop. If you have a low tire, it's going to get over and hit that fender, and as the pressure comes up, it could fix itself.
Well, what kind of fixes itself is as you travel into these corners and that banking picks up, that tire gets crammed up in there, and it'll actually push away that sheet metal over time. If it doesn't blow it out, it may make enough clearance.
So it turns itself into a rubber hammer, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Trying to make his way back. We told you about Clint Bowyer and his struggles in qualifying. He started the day in 21st position. Came in with a 67-point lead. There's the 2 car. Bowyer trying to hold off Mike Wallace for 8th spot. Bowyer has been here 4 times and has 3 top 5 finishes, and just trying to get there again today. Dave.
And crew chief Dan Deringhoff was reminded by other people on his team that they could take a fairly big swing at it this time, just in case they had to come back to it a little later on during the event. The car not turning well, they added tape to the front end of that car, which will help that a little bit, and added air to the right rear tire, which should also help. So far, so good.
That's the best I've seen him look all day.
Tell you what, they've done a pretty good job getting just a little bit of tape on there. Got to be careful, though. If they get too much on there, it's going to cause that car to overheat. You see that little spot on the front. What do you think? That's to give them 20 pounds of downforce, maybe? Just a little something to help them.
Well, anything will help if you can put some downforce on the front end. And it is getting cooler. It's getting later in the day, and it's getting cooler. So maybe they had a little bit to give on the water temp, so they put a little tape on.
We mentioned the 16 car. The City Financial Ford of Greg Biffle, our in-race reporter, was sent to the end of the longest line because of an entry problem on pit road. Shannon, can you explain?
Yeah, Doc, when they did come down pit road on that last pit stop, the guys actually went to work under the hood. Apparently what Greg has been saying is that that throttle has been sticking open during the race. So they took a look at it, sent him back out. Now he has not complained about that problem since. So right now he has his work cut out for him on this track.
Well, that's got to be something tough to deal with, a sticking throttle at Dover.
Oh, man, I don't want that to happen because, boy, if it sticks, you hit that wall hard. I mean, thank gosh they got the soft wall out there at this racetrack, but it's tough.
Yeah, we saw Mike Bliss having some struggles there on that restart. They must have had some kind of problem. They had to get in here and get it fixed.
The good news is Bliss should be able to make it from here. Now, that should have been his final stop, albeit under the green flag.
I would suspect maybe a loose wheel because that thing, it just never really got going on the restart.
He really got loose. He really got sideways at one time, and this bad might turn into good, like Jerry said, because he can make it on fuel right now, and a lot of the guys can't. So, be interesting to see how this thing turns out.
Bliss coming back up to speed. If we stay green, it will help him a little bit. There's the 1 car of Bliss, and it will help him just a little bit as far as the finishing position. Jamie.
Well, Rusty mentioned how hard of a hit you take here at Dover. Well, Mike Bliss having a little bit of problems the last time he came in because the brake pedal is gone. Not a good thing here, guys.
Well, I tell you, that's a news story right there now. If you've lost brakes, I was wondering why he just couldn't get down the corner deep enough there, Andy.
Well, that's even still kind of confusing to me because I talked to Scott Wimmer in the garage earlier. He said he's not even touching the brake. He doesn't even look at the brake pedal.
It could be a loose brake line or something like that. You never know.
Take a look at the top 5 there. It's Hamlin, Edwards, Rudeman, Harvick, and Kane, all Cup Series regulars. And folks, guess who is 6th? How about 18-year-old Joey Logano making his very first start in pretty fast company?
Getting down to it, 67 laps to go. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Dover. Coverage presented by DAP. Just the beginning of our motorsports weekend on ESPN. Qualifying for the NHRA O'Reilly Summer Nationals from Heartland Park, Topeka. You will see tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Finals tomorrow afternoon at 4 Eastern. And don't forget the IndyCar 225 from Milwaukee, 4 Eastern tomorrow on ABC. Denny Hamlin continues to lead, picked up the lead on a set of pit stops just after halfway when his crew basically pulled a draw with Kyle Busch's, and then Kyle and Brad Keselowski got together on pit road. A couple other guys want to talk about. David Ruderman.
Yeah, David Ruderman's having a good run today. It's good to see David get back in the mix of things. So he's a super race car driver. He's had some tough luck, but running up front today, as well as Mike Wallace. Great top 10 run thus far for Mike. And if you look around in that top 10, that youngster, number 20 car, Joey Logano, is running 5th.
So Ruderman in a backup car running up in the 3rd position right now. Just behind him, Kevin Harvick. Remember, Kevin visited with us on our countdown, our extended countdown show. Really haven't talked a lot about him during the race, but a very solid run.
Kevin's a very methodical race car driver. He's just picking his spots. He's getting up towards the front. You know, we got about 63 laps to go, and I think that Kevin's going to be a threat as we get down to the end.
And you talked about Mike Wallace just a minute ago. Top 10.
Absolutely. Great run thus far from Mike. As you know, he thought he had a good race car coming into this race. He practiced it, got some pats on the back from a few veterans, Hornaday and such, and so he's having a good run today.
See, Kyle Busch just made his way by Mike Wallace as Kyle continues to try and make his way back to the front. And the kid, Joey Logano, running in 5th place. Brad talked about what a super job he was doing, coming back from as far as 28th earlier. 63 laps to go. Got a little strategy to be played out yet in this one, too.
Welcome back to the hell of a good 200 here at Dover International Speedway. Our current leader, Denny Hamlin. Yes, the sun is shining on that Chesterfield, Virginia native, and won the race here last fall. Biggest mover today, Jason Leffler, up 15 positions. Leffler currently in 7th spot. How about Joey Logano? Top NASCAR Nationwide only driver. Clint Boyer is the points leader, has lost a point thus far today. Logano making his debut, being shown in an impressive 5th position here at this very difficult racetrack. We mentioned Denny Hamlin is the leader. He led 138 laps here last fall. He has led 76 laps thus far. Now, one of the cars that was damaged on pit road in the contact with the 88 car, the car is the 32 car of Kyle Busch. He came out in 15th position, and now Kyle Busch is driven all the way back up to 8th spot.
Tell you what, guys, he is on a mission right now. I mean, it's no surprise to any of us how hard he drives. That last time by, a 24.47 compared to a 70 of the leader, so he's outrunning him over 0.2 of a second a lap. It's just a matter of time. If they get another caution, he'll be right back in this game. Jamie?
I'm standing by with this crew chief, Trent Owens, and Trent's been watching this whole thing from up here. So, Trent, you guys had a lot of damage on that, but he's working his way forward. Do you think the car is good enough to make it to the end and get into victory lane?
Well, we definitely hurt the aero part of the car, but lap times are real competitive right now. Kind of need a caution to get caught up, but Dodge Camry's really strong, and if we get back to the front, I think we can give 18 a run for its money.
You guys have been snake bitten with Kyle Busch in this car. What would it mean for you to go to victory lane with him, because it was Todd Losey last week?
Yeah, it'd mean a lot. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is go to victory lane, and 32 team got a win last week with Todd Losey crew chief, and so I'm dying to get a win. This team really deserves a win. They worked really hard. We put some good cars on the racetrack. Felt like we should have got a win, so maybe it'll come today, but we got to have a caution to get caught up.
All right, guys, Kyle Busch told me yesterday he would do anything to get a win for this crew chief, Trent Owens, who has been working so hard with him this year to get to victory lane.
Jamie, the 33 car of Kevin Harvick has got a tire issue. Tire going down. He was running in 6th position.
Looks like he's got a right front tire down. Has to get in here. He's real lucky to get it on pit road.
Oh, yeah,
having that thing go down.
Usually when you lose a tire, you're in the wall. He caught it right at the last minute there.
Already lost a lap to the leader. You see Hamlin left side of your screen. Here's Hamlin coming around and trying to put Harvick 2 laps down as they will go ahead and change 4 tires. Remember, Denny Hamlin and company will have to make one more pit stop between now and the checkered flag. Harvick down and away.
And boy, I tell you, Harvick had such a good run going. He had 2 bad runs back to back, but the day he had this car fixed up, running the top 5 throughout the day, he has this problem. Gotta hurt, man.
It'll cycle through green flag run, he'll be okay. But we haven't been able to see that yet.
Guys, Joey Logano has now moved up to 4th position, having gone around Casey Kane for that spot. So it is Hamlin, Edwards, Rudiman, and Logano. There's Logano in the 20 car, moving beneath the 22. More on Logano with Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, Joey Logano pretty quiet over the radio as far as car conditions are concerned. All you hear is Dave Rogers and his spotter just talking him through the laps, getting him through that lap traffic. Caution on the track.
59 cars had some contact, and that will bring out caution for the 4th time today.
Right, low front rod.
Man, he's tore that baby up. See, he blew a right front tire out. Boy, that ball joint's broken. Look at that thing, Andy. About the right front spot ready to come off.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to fix that thing quick.
Marcus Ambrose, who had a great run here last May, he finished in 6th position, and this caution, not a good break for Marcus Ambrose, but a really good break for the 32 car.
Great break for Kyle Busch. He'll be able to catch up to these guys.
I know it needs a rotor.
We heard Trent Owens say if we can just catch a break here, we can race that 18.
Man, this turns this race into a 46-lap bonsai run because they can all make it on fuel right now. Come down and get 4 fresh Goodyears and some Sunoco fuel in that baby, and it's going to be a drag race now.
Show you what happened to Marcus here in his Ford. Watch him in the corner there. Just go straight across the racetrack.
Ooh, man.
That wall wouldn't. They call it a safer barrier, but it's not all that soft. It's probably a lot safer, but man, that still looks like it hurt.
You know, whenever you hit the wall, it's going to hurt. It's just like you said, a lot less with this soft wall. The wall gives a lot, almost 6-8 inches. It really, dampens that blow.
Caution flag for the 4th time today. And everyone should be on pit road of these leaders. They were going to have to make one more stop, and then we'll bring Hamlin, Edwards, Rudiman, and Logano in. Remember, Joey Logano had issues on that first pit stop. He had some contact leaving. Let's see what the young man can do here.
Well, the thing I can't believe, these guys aren't caught up. There's big spaces, and they're all... Dave?
And Clip Boyer is saying we're just kind of holding our own right now. He's worked his way back up to the 8th position. Crew Chief Dan Deeringhoff and the guys are going to give him a little higher air pressure on the right side tires, just a tick tight at this point. Jamie?
And Denny Hamlin took the lead on the last pit stop. He said, we're tight. Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief, said we need to take a big swing at it. This is our last shot, boys. 4 tires and a track bar adjustment for the 18, Shannon.
Well, your defending race leader, Carl Edwards, saying that the car is a little bit free. They're going to try to fix that with air pressure as they put Sunoco fuel in that car and 4 tires.
Race off of pit road. Denny Hamlin is there. Carl Edwards right at the end of pit road. And there is Strimmy up 8 spots. Biffle up 9. You see the guys who lost a couple of positions. And the 88 car off of pit road after 4 tire change. Let's go down and listen in again to DJ Cobb.
Last stop of the day. Stay cool. Nice bump. Whoa, tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tire. 1, 2.
Welcome back to the Monster Mile. Getting set for the restart here for NASCAR Nationwide Series coverage presented by DAP. Denny Hamlin the leader. All the final pit stops have been made, and here comes Hamlin down. Carl Edwards behind him. Strimmy, who took on 2 tires. Biffle took on 2 tires. Rudiman is 5th. And keep an eye on the 32 car of Kyle Busch, who's going to light the fires. Got to believe Kyle Busch is going to be very aggressive here in these final 40 laps.
Oh, man, I tell you, Kyle Busch car is going to look like it's got 8 tires on it. That thing was hooked up, fastest car on the track earlier, and now he's back in it now.
He's got a little smoke coming off that left front.
Wow, that's from the fender problem earlier, and this is caused by low air pressure right now. Should go away if it doesn't blow out first.
Mike Wallace behind him. That's 9th and 10th position. See him trying to get by Dario Franchitti right in front of him.
Mike Wallace sticks it in there. Well, Mike's having a good race.
He really is. I mean, his car's running great today. He's been solid top 10 throughout the day. And I believe this was the site of Mike's first victory. He did get it at Dover, Delaware, so he loves this racetrack.
Mike's first win came here at this racetrack in May of 1994. He loves this track indeed. He's always had good top 10 runs here, trying to get another one today. Here's Mike Wallace trying to sneak a peek beneath the 32 car. Dave?
And one of the things they've done to these race cars, as crew chief Bruce Cook told me, I haven't been aggressive enough with the bodies on these race cars. So after the Charlotte test, which went well, we decided to take them back to the shop and cut the front ends off and do them again. Much better now, the way that Mike likes them in the front. So aggressive body work has gotten him a better race car, and they've been in the top 10 ever since practice started on Friday.
Well, Dave, you can't be afraid to work on these race cars. When you don't think you've got what you need, you got to just go to work. And those guys sound like they're willing to do whatever it takes to be competitive.
You know, I walked back to the shop, my own shop the other day, Andy, and looked at the cars that didn't have a dent on them, and they had to...
Heavy contact, the 6 car. David Reagan, the 11 of Jason Keller.
That's us there, guys. 11 just dumped us.
Boy, big damage right there, David Reagan. And you can see what happens when you wreck off the corner, you fly right to the bottom and hit the inside wall also.
Yeah, you see those tethers. NASCAR requires these hoods and deck lids to have tethers on them, and you can see why. That really worked right there to keep that deck lid from flying off.
2 drivers that are running for the points, full season for the point series. Keller was in 11th in points, and Reagan was 6th overall. Watch the contact here in the corner.
Oh, yeah. Jason Keller definitely got into the back of David Reagan. Like Reagan was giving Jason plenty of room.
Yeah, that looks crazy up there. It looks like Jason's car has actually kept going up the racetrack, and David didn't have the bite he wanted up there, and actually run a little bit slower, and it both just came together. I mean, I guess you call that a racing accident. It looks like Jason could have gave it just a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, I bet David Reagan's not going to call that a racing accident.
No, he won't call that a racing accident, because if I was driving that 6 car, I'd be hot.
Jason Keller making his 27th career start at Dover. He is a Dover veteran. And, of course, David Reagan, last year's Rookie of the Year, trying to move it into the top 5 in points. It will not happen today. Heavily damaged 6 car on pit road, and likewise the 11 headed that way as well. 36 laps to go. Denny Hamlin trying to hold off Edwards, Stremme, Rudeman, and Logano. Sun setting over Dover International Speedway here, the Monster Mile, but the sun has been shining on a lot of drivers today. Not the case for these 2 guys involved in an incident here for the 5th caution flag of the afternoon. Jason Keller in the 11 car, heavy contact. Now watch the hood, or the rear deck lid, I should say, of the David Reagan Ford. See the cables holding that deck lid in place? That is a safety cable that NASCAR has put in place, and they are called tethers. For more on tethers, we're going to head down to our Dish Tech Center and let Tim tell us about tethers.
Thanks, Jerry. What this tether is, folks, you literally wrap it around a roll bar and you bolt it to the deck lid. The deck lid is tethered. It has 2 on it. The hood, it has 2. Matter of fact, the front spindles, they're even tethered, so parts can't fly away from the race car and get on the grandstand or hurt other drivers. Jerry?
That is another safety maneuver in NASCAR's #1 priority, as it always has been, is safety. And now you see why that piece did not come off the car. It was tied by a very strong cable or tether.
Yeah, you can see where they cut that tether and took the deck lid off the car.
34 laps to go. Hamlin, Edwards, Stremme. Remember, Stremme and Biffle are the guys that got only 2 tires, and they're on the... Wonder if those 2 tires are going to hold up here these final 33 laps. Now, next week, folks, we move about 750 miles west of here for race number 15 on another concrete paved track. The Sprint Cup Series, they're up in Pocono, so it is the Opportunity 300 as the NASCAR Nationwide Series cars go to Nashville for NASCAR Nationwide action presented by Craftsman on ESPN2 Saturday night. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Little damage on the 60, Shannon?
Yeah, just before that last pit caution, Carl Edwards said he just hit the wall a little bit on that right side. According to spotter Jason Hedleski, there's a little bit of damage on that right rear of the car, but they think it's going to be fine as far as being in the race. And Carl's, in fact, laughing over the radio with his crew chief PK right now, so he is in high spirits and confident of this car's ability today.
We'll keep an eye on that damage. And speaking of the spotters, let's listen into the spotters as the field comes out of turn 4, and we listen in as we go full throttle.
Be ready. Be ready. Be ready. Green flag, green flag. Green flag, green flag, green flag.
Outside, outside. Outside.
32 car of Kyle Busch in the wall, double spin. He and Leffler, a couple of Toyotas, heavy contact on the restart here at Dover, Delaware.
Oh, man, cautions bring cautions, too. I tell you, 32 laps to go. You know they're getting wound up and going for it.
These are team cars. They're both owned by Todd Braun, so you wouldn't want to wreck anybody, particularly not your teammate.
You know that wasn't on purpose. I don't know how they got together, but it sure killed Kyle Busch's car.
Unbelievable. But you know, Andy, doesn't surprise me much, though. With only 30 laps to go, I mean, these guys got to get up on the wheel, and you always try to take advantage on a restart. That's where you can pass a lot of cars.
So it's go time, what I call it.
Jason Leffler, in the top 10, it was 8th in points. Kyle Busch was 2nd in points, and watch Leffler's car. Let's see where the contact is.
Leffler just got big time loose and back over, and there's his teammate of all people, and bam, both of them out.
Kyle was giving him plenty of room, but when the 38 car got sideways, you can see right here, he had to correct it and took him right into the quarter pound.
And boy, Kyle's probably thinking, where in the world did this come from? Because I was so high on the track already.
I bet Todd Braun's wondering where he came from, too.
Oh, my gosh, he's probably sick. You're right.
Come to the bottom, come to the bottom, come to the bottom. Still keep coming. There you go. They're all around. They're all around.
Riding with Kyle Busch.
Right here, corner.
Just kind of got blindsided right there.
Second.
And you know, that wasn't even tight racing whatsoever. He just got that loose, and he had to use up that much real estate. Jason Leffler did in the 38 car to save it. And boy, it's...
Let's go down to Dave Burns.
And Kyle has hopped out of his car right now, and pretty wicked hit in a hurry from your teammate there. What happened?
Just have a teammate that can't stand to be number 2. I don't know what Leffler was thinking there. I went to the top, got a huge run on the top side, was going to clear about 3 of them. He drove up 2 lanes to hit me. I mean, I don't know what else I could have done to this Dollar General Toyota to miss it, but just frustrating. Hope Todd and I can talk and take care of that.
Looks like his car got away from him, Kyle. Do you think he shouldn't have been racing you that close through the turn?
Duh. You get air pulled off the side of you and you wreck. So just very irresponsible driving.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Glad he's okay. Walking away now from a day which could have been his, but it ends early.
Well, you can see why he'd be frustrated. And he did get blindsided. He didn't realize what happened.
Teammates, and there will obviously need to be some discussion there. There's Leffler, who was running full-time in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, although Kyle Busch is running full-time thus far and had a chance earlier in this race, was the points leader.
I'm telling you what, guys, I hate that for any owner, any driver, because I know what these things cost. Man, that's an incredible loss for Todd Braun right now. 2 cars out today, then they lost one last week also at Charlotte. So 3 cars in 2 weeks.
Here are the crew chiefs. There's Todd Losey on the right. Of course, Trent Owens was calling the shots for Kyle Busch today, and they will go back and try to sort that out.
It's going to be tense at the shop this week.
Well, Kyle Busch is a great competitor, and you know why he's so upset. I mean, he didn't even see it coming. Like I said, he was blindsided by the whole thing because he got hit in the very back, and that's what spun him around.
Jason Leffler climbing out. 29 laps to go here, and we told you that things happen in a hurry here at the Monster Mile. It can bite you, crash cars and crush dreams. That's what been happening here for decades. That's why the drivers have nicknamed it the Monster. Denny Hamlin trying to hold off to get his 2nd win of the year. There is the trophy they're racing for. How appropriate here that this big concrete monster is what they'll have to hand the winner, the survivor, here in the final 29 laps at Dover, Delaware. Concrete Carl back in the 60 car. Can he get there? Still hungry for that first win. Denny Hamlin's already won once this year, that coming at Richmond. How about David Strimmy looking for the first win ever in the NASCAR Nationwide Series?
I tell you what, this late in the race, if they don't have another caution, I won't believe it, because You've just got to get amped up big time this late in the race to get as many spots as you can. So these guys are going to be running qualifying speeds out here right now, probably.
Looks like Carl Edwards is amped up. He's trying him on the outside here, trying to make something happen.
Carl going very high as Hamlin pulled down to the inside of the racetrack, and this time Carl will follow in the tracks of Denny Hamlin. While we watch this battle up front, Dave Burge is caught up with Jason Leffler.
I can tell you, Doc, he's standing here disgusted right now. Jason, looked like that happened in a hurry. What did you feel in the race car?
I just lost it. Took my teammate out. I got to apologize to everybody at Braun Racing. We had top 10 going. They had a great car, and apologize to everybody at Dollar General. Great Clips. It was just one of them deals, on the restart. Just he got the outside, I got loose, and clipped him. Happened to me last week, and sorry for all them guys. They work hard, and now we got 2 up to our race cars because of me.
You guys said it was going to be a tense week at the race shop. Jason Leffler walking away from a bad situation right now, guys.
Got to appreciate the honesty. I just lost it. He said, I clipped my teammate, and he apologized. And that happens. They both were going, as he said, both going for top 10 finishes.
Well, if he would have said, hey, it wasn't my fault, it was your fault, something like that, that would cause a lot of controversy. But he was dead honest. That's just what happened.
Yeah, this 88 car just got in the wall coming off the corner. Still digging hard, though.
He's in 8th position, and that is the battle between he and Mike Wallace for 8th and 9th.
I don't see much damage. I see a lot of sparks, though, Andy, under the 88 car.
Yeah, he just clipped the wall a little bit coming off the corner. Right there, he almost got it again. But he does get clear, Mike Wallace. You see the sparks flying out from under the car. That means they're really driving hard in the corner and bottoming the bottom of the car out. So they don't clear the racetrack very much. So when they really bonsai down in there, it'll make the cross member under the engine bang on the racetrack.
3rd position, the 64 car. And David Rudeman there, we're side by side in our Strimmy. Remember, he only took 2 tires. That's how he's able to get that track position back on that previous stop. So Strimmy hanging tough there in the 64.
Mike Wallace gets back by Brad Keselowski.
We cannot say enough about the run that Mike Wallace has had today. He's only had 1 top 10 this year. It was 7th at Las Vegas, trying to get his 2nd top 10, and he is driving the wheels off his Toyota.
Listen to that throttle. You hear that? Wow, 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 wow. That's Mike. That car's really loose when you got to do that. Shannon.
Well, Brad Keselowski, he came down pit road again after that damage with Kyle Busch earlier in the race. He restarted 16th, so this team is certainly battling back. He's now in the top 10. Brad Keselowski looking to make a repeat of his performance last week. Jamie.
What a great run for David Stremme. Doc, you talked about it. He went for track position on that last stop, only took right sides. David Stremme running 3rd. He has never won a NASCAR major sanction event. Trucks, nationwide, or Cup, guys. Perhaps this will be the day.
David Stremme knows that team is searching for sponsorship help, and how big would this be if Stremme can get up there and maybe just hang on to that spot or maybe get a shot to win it here in the final 20 laps. How about Joey Logano, right side of your screen, first time ever in a NASCAR Nationwide Series car. Is this 18-year-old kid impressive or what?
He's been solid as a rock. He stayed out of trouble. He's right here in position for a great finish.
I don't care if he's in one of the best. Got to be able to steer it and drive it and maneuver it through the traffic, and he hasn't hit anything. One little dent on pit road, and that's been it. Shannon.
Yeah, and you also have to say a lot for Dave Rogers, his crew chief's leadership skills, talking his drivers through every lap of this race so far. Joey Logano's basically telling his crew chief that these guys are beating him off one. So Dave just reassuring him, letting him know that he needs to be there at the end. Dave Rogers told me his biggest concern for Joey Logano in his first race today was that he enjoyed it. He said you can never do your first race again, and I just want him to walk away with a good feeling today.
His nickname is Sliced Bread. Former 2-time series champion Randy LaJoie, another Connecticut native, named him that when he walked in the shop one day and said, son, we're going to call you Sliced Bread. Everybody said, you're the next best thing, said Sliced Bread, and he laughed about it, but that nickname has stuck because this young man, Joey Logano, is very, very talented.
How about Greg Biffle? He's caught this group too, and he's coming back from a penalty on pit road where he had to go to the end of the longest line, so he's made a lot of headway.
And he come from the back of the pack to get up to 5th. He's another guy possessed. Now, Biffle's had a lot of momentum, like we talked earlier in our show. 2nd at Charlotte last weekend, qualified in the top 10 here.
And he's
doing it again.
He's on the pole for tomorrow's race.
Yeah, he will lead the charge down for the NASCAR Sprint Cup event alongside Kurt Busch. By the way, Kyle Busch starts third in that race on Sunday. Here's Denny Hamlin, the 16 laps to go, trying to get his second win on the season. Here's the best battle on the racetrack. Look at Biffle now going to the high side of Logano.
Stremmy's got those 2 right side tires. He's on top of the track. Got a lot of momentum up there. We talked about how these engines are about 80 horsepower less this year because of that restrictor plate underneath the engine, which really slowed them down. These guys got to keep them wound up.
He's hanging tough up there with those 2 tires. But Biffle's on the move, man. Look at him move on the outside of this 20. Logano's not giving it to him, though.
No, he's not. But he's smart, Andy. He's not, pushing the issue. He knows if he crashes this car, it's going to be a bad first outing. And he's impressed everybody so far.
Rookie driver in his first start. How important is for him to be able to see what these veterans in front of him are doing? Obviously, it's easier to go to school on what has to happen here by watching the likes of David Rudiman and Greg Biffle.
Well, he's getting a great lesson right here with some great race car drivers.
Looks like his car's starting to give up just a little bit, though. I mean, he caught those guys pretty fast. Logano did. And then all of a sudden now he's slowing up a little bit, so might have knocked a goodie out of those tires.
Still a lot of goodie left in this 18 car, though. Looking at the lap times, Carl Edwards and Denny Hamlin are just about identical on lap times, but Denny's got about a second lead.
Tell you what, I'm surprised on Andy. Basically, the top 5 guys are running real close to the same speed, all in the 50s. The top 4 cars are, so that's pretty surprising that they're that close.
Denny Hamlin making his 8th start of 2008. He's got a win at Richmond, a second at Charlotte. This is the same car that he is driving that Kyle Busch actually led some laps at Las Vegas early in the year before cutting a tire.
Carl's pushing hard.
Closing in on 10 laps to go right now. Got to get it done if you can get anything.
How bad does Carl Edwards want to get a win here?
10 laps to go.
You can see how much he wants this race just by how hard he's driving. He was sideways coming off the corner.
He talked about Carl earlier. Says his car was real tight. They've had 3 or 4 pit stops to get this thing turning better, whether it's track bar or air pressure or whatever they've done. The car does look a little bit better.
Hard to find a better driver who was more aggressive on the concrete than Carl Edwards. They worked so hard in both practice sessions here yesterday to get this car dialed in. They wanted it good on longer runs when the track was going to really change. But these Joe Gibbs cars have been hard to beat. 8 wins. Wow.
That seems to be just what it's been, Rusty. This 18 car is just out of Carl's reach. And it seems like every week these Toyotas are just out of the reach of the competitor.
Yeah, the Toyotas right now are just got more horsepower. I mean, they're putting them on these chassis dynos after the race is over, and the Toyota continue to have more power. It's yet to be seen what NASCAR is going to do. If they're going to try to level that playing field a little bit or not, I don't know, but a lot of the drivers are complaining about it.
8 laps to go. It is Hamlin, Edwards, and I tell you what, David Stremme continues to impress me. Just those 2 tires on the stop to get track position, and he's holding off the 99 of Rudiman, Biffle, and Logano for position.
He's hanging in there. Looks like he's moved around the racetrack and found him a groove that works.
Tell you what, I questioned that decision, just putting right side tires on, but they were looking at the tire wear evidently, and they knew what they had.
That's why they don't have you on top of the pit box.
I was the worst guy putting 4 tires on. I'd spent way too much money, and half the time those decisions I made never worked anyway.
Yeah, give a call to Dale Ferguson and that crew, and they've gotten Stremme up there, but how about the driver who's kept it there?
This Stremme's done such a good job, and I say it every week, but here he is with less than 10 laps to go, 6 laps to go, running in the top 5. Strong 3rd place.
Yeah, he finished 2nd at Talladega, 6th at Richmond, 6th at Darlington. Trying to get another top 5.
5 laps to go.
And I know I'm not supposed to be tooting my own team's horn, but I do know how hard they work, and they work really hard, and they're very deserving of this. Constantly in the wind tunnel, constantly trying to make their cars better.
And you got you a good one in Stremme. He's a wheel man.
Yeah, I like this kid. He's helping us a lot, and Steven and him just get along so well, and I really think that's helped both of them. Steve's up to 11th right now, so both the cars are running well right now.
Looks like Denny Hamlin's working through some traffic. This might help Carl just a little bit.
Oh, man, whenever you get caught in traffic, any bit, the car who's running second, like Carl Edwards, just sees that as a big advantage. I got to get it right now. I mean, this is my only chance. But Denny clears the traffic, and he's setting sail again.
Denny Hamlin led 50 laps in this spring race last year to finish second to Carl Edwards. He came back and dominated here last September, leading 138 laps. You think Denny Hamlin likes this racetrack pretty well?
Yeah, it's like Kyle Busch said, duh. I would say, yeah, he does. I mean, you got to hand these Joe Gibbs guys. They got these things flying. The cars might have a lot of power, but Andy, they are handling every time we see them, the 18 and the 20.
They're doing a lot of things right. It's never just one thing. It's always a combination. These cars are very complex.
What about Joey Logano running 6? You know he wants to be in 5th to say I got my first top 5. But it looks like if it stays this way, he's going to bring home a 6th place finish. And great run for the kid,
He's
man.
still going to have to hold off Brad Keselowski. He's making a move on him here.
White flag this time by for Denny Hamlin. What a dominant performance by Hamlin here at the Monster Mile today. In turns 3 and 4, the 18 car for Denny Hamlin. Joe Gibbs Racing going to pick up their 9th win. And Denny Hamlin does it at the Monster Mile.
Great job, dude. Great job. First time in the 18 car, 1 ride, 1 win. Way to go, bud.
Hamlin takes the victory. Carl Edwards second. David Stremme, another top 5 finish in 3rd. Rudeman 4th. Biffle 5th, and Joey Logano holds on to get a 6th place finish in his very first start. Keselowski 7th. Mike Wallace, Clint Boyer hangs on to the points lead by finishing 9th, and Casey Kane comes home with a top 10.
Well, some big surprises out of Kyle Busch crash. I never expected that. Never expected teammates to get into it. But other than that, pretty smooth race. Good, fast race.
I think if that 32 car Kyle Busch could have stayed in here, he might have had something for Denny Hamlin, but it didn't happen.
That pit road problem, Andy, leaving pit road, getting the left front fender tore up, him having to come from the back of the pack, that's what killed him right there.
Go ahead and use those tires up. We don't need them anymore.
Denny Hamlin, 2nd consecutive win at Dover. And he's led a combined 269 laps in the last 2 NASCAR Nationwide Series events. 131 laps today, 138 laps here last September.
Boys will say, we'll take that. Let's go on home. They thought they were going to have to be here Monday because of all the rain. But boy, we're glad we got this race in here today. And it's still got a lot of daylight, not a cloud in the sky here at Dover. A lot of weather, and it finally passed us.
Joe Gibbs driven. What does that statement say? Obviously, this team is driven by the leadership of Joe Gibbs, and starting it years ago. Hot rod oil, and that was certainly one hot rod today. Let's go down where Shannon is caught up with the 2nd place finisher, Carl Edwards.
That's right, a solid effort by Carl Edwards and this number 60 team. Carl, know you guys have had some issues with this new tapered spacer this season. How do you feel about where you guys are right now given this finish?
Well, I mean, obviously we want to win. You know, it's no fun watching somebody else win, but Denny and those guys did a good job. I'm just so proud of Save a Lot food stores, guys. We're recovering. We're doing better every week. And they got good food cheap, all right? So we might go have a little dinner, but man wanted to win this race, but just wasn't meant to be. It's still a good performance for us.
And it's only a matter of time before Carl Edwards gets back to victory lane.
Thanks, Shannon. Update the point standings. Clint Boyer will hold on to the points lead, although he had lost it briefly today while Kyle Busch was leading. It is a 121-point separation between Boyer and Busch. Carl Edwards hangs on to 3rd. Rudeman, Brad Keselowski, there you see. David Stremme now moving in closer to that 9th position. Stremme with the top 5 finish, just 5 points back of Mike Wallace in 10th position. Speaking of David Stremme, let's go down and visit with him. Shannon?
Yeah, we're down here with David Stremme. What a great run for this team. Tell me about your day, David. How did you feel in that car today?
We just got behind qualifying. We were a little too loose, and the Atrius Home Chevrolet was really good in the long runs. And we knew, talking earlier in the day, we were going to take 2 tires, and you know, it was cooling down a little bit, and it paid off. So I'm really proud of all these guys at Rusty Wallace Racing. You know, everybody that helps our program out, because this is a building year, and I look at the next 3 weeks we're going to go into as a really good shot at trying to win. Being that we're an independent nationwide team, no cup affiliation, like I said, I'm really proud of these guys.
Yeah, certainly a great day for David Stremme. Over to Dave Burns with a young man who had another good day.
That is Joey Logano, who finished 6th today. Joey, first of all, Casey came with some words for you afterwards. What conversation ensued there?
I just want to know how I did and congratulate me for, I don't know, I guess a 6th place finish, which ain't much in my book, but I had a decent car. The GameStop Toyota was pretty good, but I screwed up in the pits early on. Just put myself in a position I didn't need to. Got there in the pit stall and didn't angle out like I needed to, and got our left front fender bent in there a little bit. But besides that, the team did great. I think we could have took 2 and held up there. The 64 held up pretty good up there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in Nashville. Taking the next place.
Looks like a good start for Joey Logano right here at Dover. Let's go to victory lane now with Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin crawls from the 18 cockpit, and it is a Gatorade shower. Woo, that's 2 wins in a row here at Dover for Denny Hamlin. So Denny, oh, he's nice and red from the Gatorade now. So Denny, this is the first time that you were in this car on the racetrack, because 2 weeks ago you crashed trying to qualify and missed it. What kind of redemption does this give you for you and your team?
It means a lot. It was 4 years ago that J.D. Gibbs, Steve D'Souza, and Joe Gibbs gave me an opportunity as a development driver to get in this 18 car at Darlington, and it's a lot of these same guys were still on this team, and they went through so many struggles for so many years, and just proud of this whole group. Jason and the entire Joe Gibbs nationwide team. It's just, it definitely means a lot to come out here and be able to win in different cars, and just got to thank the fans. I mean, those fans that stuck it out for so many hours here, watch this race. It's amazing. We got such great fans in NASCAR.
Well, you get the win, but your teammate Joey Logano, we heard you talking to him on the radio on the start, but you guys had a little bet going with the rest of the drivers. What was that all about?
Yeah, I told everyone he'd finish in the top 7, and he proves me right. Wins me a little bit of money, which is good. But this is also a special win because it's the Joe Gibbs driven hot rod oil car. This car right here is funded by JD and Coy Gibbs and Joe Gibbs, so it's extra special to them because this car is the one that they put out there on their own money.
Congratulations. Go celebrate with the team. Denny Hamlin is your winner in Dover. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, I'm down here with David Rudiman. What a weekend it's been for you guys. 3 laps into first practice. You have a fire under that hood. You go to a backup car. How difficult has this weekend been for you to get this top 5 finish?
When you got a team like I got, it's not that hard, I guess. Jerry Baxter and everybody at Michael Walker Racing brought me a great air green machine, and when it felt really good for 3 laps till we burned it up, and then it broke out the backup and it drove pretty well. We adjusted on it and just didn't quite take a big enough swing of it towards the end, but proud of my guys, man. Pit stops were awesome. So all in all, it was a pretty good race and had a lot of fun, and maybe learn something for tomorrow, maybe.
All right, a great run for David Rudiman, who is one of those drivers going for a championship here in the Nationwide Series.
Thank you, Shannon. Guys, final thoughts on what we saw today here at Dover.
Yeah, it's all about Joe Gibbs racing again, guys. I mean, he's still strong, both cars, and so that Toyota's running strong.
And we still had Kyle Busch dominating and having problems in the pits, gets banged up, and then still doesn't get it done.
Alan Beswick, the summary today. Well, Denny Hamlin does it again in dominant fashion here at Dover, Delaware.
2 of the last 3, and now we turn our attention to next Saturday night's race under the lights in Nashville.
Absolutely, Alan. I'm so excited to get to Nashville next weekend. David Stremme, what a great run today. We could see him in victory lane next week. Joey Logano, he is the real deal, and another great run for Brad Keselowski. I'm so excited. We're going to have a great race next week, Saturday night at Nashville.
And the Cup drivers that are running both series full-time, like Edwards and Boyer and Reagan and so on, shuffling back and forth from Pocono to Nashville. We'll see how it all turns out. That's next Saturday night. Our coverage presented by Craftsman. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. And coming up next, more racing, just of a different variety. Track and field, the Reebok Grand Prix from New York City. They've got a great field for that one, too, so stay with us for that. That is coming up next here on ESPN2. Well, a 3-hour delay for rain. Tornado watches in the area, severe thunderstorms. Really kind of looked a little bleak earlier in the day, like we were going to get this race in. But eventually the skies cleared, the track dried, and they went racing. Some pit road incidents took out a couple of contenders who looked like they had a shot at the win, particularly Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch right there. In the end, it was Denny Hamlin from that point on.